Hello, welcome to Gospel in Action. In this video, let us understand how Aryans later became Indians and what was their lifestyle. After that, let us learn about some of their religious beliefs as well. So without wasting much time, let us dive into the video. If you're a first-time visitor, then I request you to please hit that like button to support us with this mission. If the videos are helpful, please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to not miss another video. Note that the subscription is free. As I told before, when the Aryans first arrived, they settled around the banks of the river Indus in the northern part of India. When the Aryans first saw the river, they realized that the land around the river was perfectly suitable for a prosperous living. They named the river Sindhu. Sindhu literally means river or a large mass of water in Sanskrit. Sindhu later became Indus when the Britishers came and ruled India. Anyway, the Aryans who settled in this region began a couple of civilizations around the Sindhu River. Those were the oldest and the most advanced civilizations of that time. Remember, the Aryans learned their skills of building a civilization from the Sumerians because they indeed were the Sumerians before they came and settled around the Sindhu River. So the first cities in India were Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Together, they were called the Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization was basically an urban culture sustained by surplus agricultural production and commerce, the latter including trade with Elam and Sumer in southern Mesopotamia. So we understand that the people of Sindhu did not abandon the connection with their ancestors, the Sumerians. Further, both Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were generally characterized as having differentiated living quarters, flat-roofed brick houses, and fortified administrative or religious centers. Although such similarities have given rise to arguments for the existence of a standardized system of urban layout and planning, the similarities are largely due to the presence of a semi-orthogonal type of civic layout and a comparison of the layouts of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa shows that they are in fact arranged in a quite dissimilar fashion. Reading this, we get an idea about how advanced the very first civilization of India was. Mohenjo-daro literally meant the mound of the dead men. Built around 2500 BC, Mohenjo-daro was one of the largest settlements of the ancient Indus Valley civilization and one of the world's earliest major cities contemporaneous with the civilizations of ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, Minoan Crete, and Norte Chico. This description is indeed a very accurate description of the city about which we already know. But why was it named the Mound of Dead Men? I believe that it was named as Mohenjo-daro later by their descendants because there was a huge flood which destroyed the entire civilization. Fortunately, many people escaped, but they all lost everything, including their livelihood. The same people again started to migrate towards the east in search of a new beginning. They found the most fertile land around the river Ganga this time, that is, the Ganges River. They built a civilization around the river Ganges. This was called the second period of urbanization known as the Ganges civilization, which began in the Vedic period itself at about 1500 BC. Their capital city was Varanasi or Kasi or the present-day Benares. Anyway, this becomes another whole new series. For now, let us stick with the Indus Valley civilization and understand how the people of Indus became Hindus and Indians. The name of the Indus River remained Sindhu until the end of the Vedic period, and hence the Aryan people who settled in the Vedic land became the people of Sindhu. Then, in the 6th century BC, a Persian ruler, King Darius I, invaded the land. This is the same King Darius that we study in the Bible, in the book of Daniel. Then, he became the Persian ruler of the vast Achaemenid Empire that stretched into the Indus Valley. It was also called the Great Indo-Greek Kingdom. After Darius, Alexander the Great invaded India. It was Alexander who mispronounced Sindhu as Indu. So, after Alexander, the land has been called Indu for several centuries. Then later, in the middle and late medieval periods, which spanned from around 1000 AD to 1526 AD, the Muslims invaded India, that is the Hindu land. That was the time when Muslims were slowly taking over the whole known world, mostly by using merciless violence. The first Muslim empire in India was the extension of the Abbasid Caliphate. Mahmud of Ghazni, the first ruler to hold the title Sultan, invaded and plundered vast parts of Punjab and Gujarat, starting from the Indus River during the 10th century AD. It was this ruler who was commonly referred to as Mahmud Ghazni that could not pronounce Hindu properly. He pronounced the land as Hindu for the very first time instead of Hindu. So, Hindu is not an ancient name. In fact, Hindu was fairly a new word, and it came from the first Muslim ruler of India in the 10th century AD. Hence, from then onwards, the people of the land of India were called the Hindus, and the name of the land itself became Hindustan. Hindustan literally means the land of Hindus in Persian language of Urdu. So, Hindustan is not even a native name of India. It is indeed a Persian name and first used by the Muslims of the great Abbasid Caliphate. Unfortunately, most Hindus are proud and patriotic about the word Hindu, which is not even theirs in the first place. And importantly, Hindu is not a religion. As we have seen, it is the name of a region below the Indus River. So please don't get confused. However, the religion that Hindus practice is the same Vedic religion of the Aryans who brought it from the West, that is from the Arabian Peninsula, that is from the Sumerians. It is also called the Sanatana Dharma, which literally means eternal religion in Sanskrit. We will learn about it in detail in the upcoming videos. Note that the Muslims did not exist until literally the 6th and the 7th centuries AD. So, as Muslims originated in Mecca, that is in the Arabian Peninsula, through Prophet Muhammad, they are the direct descendants of the Sumerians. In fact, they are the descendants of two of the sons of Joktan. The sons of Joktan were Almodad, Shalef, Hazarmaveth, Jera, Hadoram, Uzel, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab, according to Genesis chapter 10, verses 26 through 29. But according to Arab records, only 2 of these sons stayed back in the region, and that is from where the Muslims originated. In fact, they trace back their lineage to Abraham's first son, Ishmael. Even this will be an entirely new series. For now, let us stick to the Aryans who became Hindus and introduce a little bit of their belief system. We have seen how these Aryans who settled around the river Sindhu were ultimately referred to as Hindus after a couple of mispronunciations of the rulers during their respective times. First, Alexander mispronounced Sindhu as Indu, and later Mahmud Ghazni mispronounced Indu as Hindu. After this, the British who invaded the land in the 17th century called Hindu as India. This is how India got its name. India has a couple of other names as well. They are first, Bharata. Second, Jambu Dvipa. Bharata or Bharat is the name for India in several Indian languages. It is said to be derived from the name of Dushyanta's son, who was the emperor Bharata from one of the greatest Indian epics, Mahabharata. The name could also be derived from the name of Rishabha's son, who was also the Emperor Bharata according to the Jain philosophy. This Emperor Bharata was also the brother of Bahubali. Anyway, at first, the name Bharat referred only to the western part of the Ganges in North India, but was later more broadly applied to the Indian subcontinent and the region of Greater India, as was the name India. Secondly, Jambu Dvipa was used in ancient scriptures as a name of India before Bharata became the official name. It literally means berry island in Sanskrit. The derivative Jambu Dvipa was the historical term for India in many Southeast Asian countries before the introduction of the English word India. This alternate name is still used occasionally in Thailand, Malaysia, Java, and Bali to describe the Indian subcontinent. However, sometimes it also can refer to the whole continent of Asia. Anyway, now let me introduce a little bit of the Hindu belief system. Again, this is not going to be done in just one video. As I said before, the religion of Hindus is the Vedic religion called the Sanatana Dharma, which means eternal religion. It originally came from the Aryans who migrated from the Arabian Peninsula, that is from the land of the Sumers or the land of the Sumerians. Their ideas about God originally came from the Sumerian religion. As we have learned in the previous videos of this series, Sumerian religion is the second religion created by mankind after God confused the languages and scattered people into the whole earth. In fact, Sanatana Dharma is so vast that it is very difficult to define the religion in a comprehensive manner that would encompass all facets of its practice. Having said that, all the facets of the practice of Hindu religion must root back to the Vedas. The Vedas are the original scriptures developed and written by the Aryan sages during the Vedic period. So any practice that deviates from what the Vedas originally taught will be considered a counterfeit of Sanatana Dharma. Unfortunately, today the prevailing Hindu religion, or as is now called Hinduism, is a mix of everything. That is both Sanatana Dharma and all counterfeits of Sanatana Dharma. This is because no one questions anyone's belief system. The only verification point would be whether you believe in God or not. No one cares about knowing the absolute truth. This is because Hinduism teaches that the truth is not absolute, but it is relative, and that everything we see in this world is God's Leela, which literally means God's sport. Lastly, regarding the salvation, Hindus believe that they themselves will pay for their sins not just in one life, but through a maximum of 84 million lives. That is correct. 84 million lives. And after they become holy by completely paying for their sin nature, that is at the end of several lifetimes, they become one with God. That means ultimately they would become non-existent. Hence, they believe in Advaita philosophy or non-dualism. We will learn all this in great detail starting from the next video. Until then, stay tuned to Gospel in Action, and to know more about me, please find my testimony and my contact details in the description below. Remember, this series is done with a lot of research and preparation. Do you know why? Because God loves you, and so do I. God bless you all. Let us meet again next week. Thank you again for watching.